without further ado, I would love to just go ahead and just get everything started, Buva. So, hi everyone, my name is Tia Green Granger. I run a PR agency called Liba PR, but I'm an advocate for helping female entrepreneurs share their stories. So today I have the honor to connect with you, Buva Shakti.
Latia, and thanks everyone for joining us. I know we are starting a minute earlier, but feel free to share any questions in chat and we'll start answering them at the end of the meeting. And then, of course, this is a LinkedIn Live, it'll be recorded, so you can also watch later for any questions. Ping us on LinkedIn, on Wallet Max channel, or my channel, or Tia's channel. So, without further ado, myself as well, Tia. Welcome everyone, and thanks for connecting here. My name is Bhuva Shakti. I am the founder and CEO at WalletMax. We are a global community of corporate executives, impact investors, and diverse startups, especially focused on climate, fintech, deep tech, AI, and the inclusion sector. Why we are focused on this? Before I started focus on this, let me tell you, I was on Wall Street. I was managing risk, governance, and compliance for investment banks, public capital markets. On a day-to-day basis, we were doing a lot of finance and technology. We were fundraising literally billions of dollars. And I noticed after being there several decades, all the money, all the capital, all the fundraising we did not serve people who needed it the most. Women entrepreneurs, people who do sustainable product and service work, people who follow inclusion and financial initiatives that serve the broader community, people who do deep tech solutions, especially focused on responsible tech and ethical AI. So I started thinking, okay, with so many billions of dollars raised on Wall Street, if it doesn't serve people in need who can make broader impact in shorter time, then this is not going to be helpful. And I did not want that to be my legacy. So I transitioned and I started founder Wallet Max. So within Wallet Max, on a monthly basis, we do a lot of events in New York City. Our key differentiator is bringing corporate executives like myself who have spent decades in the corporate sector but want to give back to the startup and the investor ecosystem, either to advise startups, invest in startups, become an investor themselves, or support other investors. The options are unlimited, but you can still also continue to be in your corporate career and give back on the side. So that's our mission. And I'm also part of Columbia Business School and Columbia Climate School community within the New York metropolitan area, where I give back as an alumni to advise startups, help them fundraise outside of the day-to-day events that we run at Wallet Max, where they can grow their business both in the US and globally. And here we are today, Tia.
I love that. There's a saying that I heard the other day. It's that the first part of your life you learn, the second part of your life you earn, and the third part of your life you give back. And I feel like that's what you're doing now is really giving back to the next generation. So I want to thank you for just creating these like platforms as well as communities so our next generation will be okay. Thank you. I really love that. But the first question I have for you today is I know you have an upcoming summit called Emerald Summit. Can you tell us a little bit about the primary objectives of this summit and how it aims to kick off Climate Week in New York
Sure.
City?
And Sure. Thanks, Tia. And we've been doing this for years. Especially, we do a lot of events, as I mentioned earlier, on a monthly basis with our flagship events during your FinTech Week in April, Tech Week in June. But our annual summit called Emerald Summit happens once a year during New York City Climate Week in September. It's also the time I chose because it's at the intersection of Climate Week and Fashion Week, where there is a lot of discussion about circular economy and sustainable fashion. But UN General Assembly also kicks off that week, which means all the world leaders and prominent leaders are already in the city, which means what better way to run a day long summit, bringing people together to find solutions and really act on it, not just talk about it. because we just don't do this once a year and then come back and meet each other the next year. We are building momentum for 9 months through the start of the year, and we end the year with the Climate Week Summit and through October, November, December, where we do follow ups. Three major things happen at the summit every year. First is the day long session on workshops and panels. These are not talks that people just give and then go off. They share real learnings and experiences from their life in terms of doing sustainable things, be it for yourself as a person or a business, small business, startup, investor, whatever your career pathway is. So the goal is lessons from people who have moved capital to others who want to finance or fundraise or build capital. The second thing we do is we talk about climate as if it's a separate industry, as
Mm-hmm.
some climate scientist job, but it's basically affecting everyone. If you have a respiratory illness due to bad air quality in your neighborhood, it is a climate solution. Solving for it, it's a healthcare solution, solving for people. If you have water contamination, that's a climate problem, and we need to find solution, and that's a climate innovation. Similarly, so many things like food security, toxicity in food, toxic waste in clothes we wear, and everything else, right? So climate is not just climate as a sector, but what we are focused on is fund climate solutions that affect people in a good way, but also use technology to accelerate and scale some of these solutions for broader community impact. So that's the second thing we do. So number one, raise capital. Number two, bring climate solutions for people regardless of the sector or the industry vertical. And the third thing on the day that we do is a pitch competition where we announce our awards. It's not about startups and investors and executing connecting in a room. Like I mentioned at the start, we need action in the room, which means startups will pitch to investors who will make real time decisions and choose winners, and then we'll make decisions to give them prizes, awards, and continue the investment into their journey. So it's very important to make real action happen in the room. And it's also an opportunity for everyone else in the ecosystem, like talent. You want to work in a climate startup or in an investing firm, you want to talk to corporate executives through sustainable technology or financial aspects, or you want to talk to small businesses or even people in the ecosystem like experts and industry leaders who have sustainable solutions working within their university or in the government sector. So we bring everyone together with the goal of funding and fundraising for innovative climate solutions using technology, but definitely more focused on executives giving back to startups and investors and making real investments happen on the spot.
Wow. That's powerful, Buva. That is so powerful. I'm glad you birthed this into the world. And I mean, this is not your first rodeo either. So last year in 2024, you had prominent figures such as Francesco Martin Rayo, the CEO of Helios AI for supply chains, was there. And then you also had climate hard tech venture capitalist investor at SOSV and chief science officer Susan Schofer. So who are we going to be able to expect this year and what topics will they cover?
Yeah, no, thanks for sharing that, Tia. So last year we had close to 50 odd speakers, startups, and investors, to name a few. I want to emphasize on Susan as well. It's not about software solutions that enable sustainability, finance, and technology solutions. Rather, we also want to heavily invest in hard tech solutions. What I mean by that, right? So you need to build battery storage, you need to build wind projects, you need to build solar panels, you need to build clean energy projects, and many of these are hardware, physical manufacturing related components, though they are supported additionally with software. So that's why it's really important to bring all perspectives into our climate summit during the Emerald Summit in New York on September 19th. Similarly, you mentioned Francesco. So he's one example of a CEO of a startup who's using AI as a technology to streamline supply chain resilience. All of us know what happened to supply chains during the pandemic. And it's going to become a problem due to climate challenges that we are unable to stop today, and it could spiral into a supply chain problem affecting people. So his solution is working on something innovative to build the supply chain resilience today, so a future climate action or a challenge does not impact people and our communities. So having said that, this year what we are expecting is building on top of our success last year. Last year we had a lot of introduction into many industries and innovative solutions, but this year we're going to go one step forward because we have learned everything, we are aware of everything. Last year also the theme was more climate mitigation. How can we prevent some challenges? But this year we've evolved into more adaptation and resilience. So our theme for this year is going to be working on solutions that really have strong resilience across industries. So if a crisis happens, we are ready for it, while also continuing to work like last year to prevent crisis, right? So it's not just preventing, but rather preventing, adapting, and also being resilient to withstand a crisis due to climate across any sector. With that in mind, we have panels that are focused on renewable energy, we have panels focused on climate fintech, we have panels focused on small businesses. Small businesses are in the front lines where they have lot of impact due to climate in their local communities, but they are also the frontline responders to bring back resilience and change in their communities. We also have panels that are focused on circular economy, like I mentioned, sustainable fashion, because we are going to be at the intersection of Fashion Week. We'll also have some policy discussions, especially focused on organizations like the UN or the World Economic Forum or similar, how they can be part of the conversation in addition to corporations, startups, and investors. So that's a whole suite of things that are coming this year. We are not leaving mitigation from last year, but we are adding on top of mitigation from last year into focusing additionally on adaptation and resilience this year.
Wow, it's gonna be a wealth of knowledge. Anyone that's going to attend there, oh man, and even Dr. Shakira, she just said this is great. Like that's, thank you so much, Dr. Shakira. Thank you, thank you. So since you talked about innovative solutions, how does the Emerald Summit aim to encourage collaboration among participants to create innovative solutions at their intersection of climate and finance?
Yeah. So one of the key things, and because I come from Wall Street and the corporate sector as well, there are always silos. If there are enterprise initiatives, one business unit will work on something and will not potentially talk to another business unit which will be working on the same thing, while the goal for both of them is to solve the challenge of the enterprise as a whole. Where we are focused this year and every year at the summit is breaking the silos. Instead of bringing just startups and investors into the room, we are bringing corporations, institutional investors, startups, small businesses, investors, private and public, as well as policymakers, government executives, and academia, because the solution is not going to be done by one person. It cannot scale by one person or one community or one sector. All of us, as I spoke earlier, climate impacts every industry, and all of us have to break silos and work together to find solutions that are more resilient, not just solve a short term challenge. And that's why our goal is to break silos, bring everyone that can move capital into solutions faster and scale better for communities both in the US and globally. And I just want to point out, Climate Week is also the week where international audience is already in New York City, which means we're going to be talking about scaling global solutions and breaking silos, not just in New York City or in the United States.
Wow. Wow. And I can only imagine the attendees are going to be able to network with all
Yeah.
of these powerful people. And so, can you elaborate on networking opportunities available during the summit?
Yeah, so you can start networking even from today, from this meeting, all the way through the summit and even after the summit. So, a couple of things what you can do is you can go to our website, getwalletmax.com/summit, and find more information on who's going to be speaking on a panel. who are the startups pitching, who are the investors coming, what are the type of audience you can expect. You can also get this information real time, up to date on a weekly basis on our website, and then start connecting with them. We share all information like their LinkedIn profile and other details. You can talk to them even before the summit, introduce, and if you need any support, you can also reach out to the Wallet Max team. We can make those introductions and connections. So you are well prepared and connected even before you come to the summit. During the summit, we have a lot of networking opportunities throughout the day, starting with the breakfast and check-in. You have like 1.5 hours between 9 to 10:30 a.m. Eastern time in New York, where you can have a breakfast and also network and talk to someone who you have met already, networked already, or meet new in the space. Like I said, the audience is going to be executives, investors, startups, as well as policymakers, decision makers from academia and other organizations. So it's going to be a mix of everyone, people who are giving and asking. So everyone should come with the give and ask. One of the rules we have in our community networking is you can't just keep asking, you have to also give. So it's a mutual collaboration. So that's an opportunity at the breakfast. And then you have a lot of workshops and panels happening between breakfast and lunch, where you can research on the speakers already. So then after the session is over, you'll have separate opportunity to meet speakers individually and talk to them in our speakers lounge. Then you have lunch for an hour. It's again a lunch and networking session. It's going to be very portable. You can go around the space. It's for 3 floors, and you can have lunch and talk to people, meet people, or continue the conversation. Then in the afternoon, we have series of panels. The most important is the pitch competition and the award ceremony. So if you have researched the startups already, you want to work with them, partner with them, invest in them, or if you are a startup, you want to reach out to an investor, then you can research already, meet with them, and connect with them in the afternoon sessions. On top of it, when we end the day, when we transition from summit into the dinner in the evening, we have a networking block where if you didn't get a chance to meet few people from the summit, you can talk to them in an open networking session after the summit, or you can join us for the dinner where it's a private small group networking session for startups, executives, investors, policymakers, and decision makers, where you can continue the conversation for the day. And of course, we'll keep in touch post the summit as well through our monthly events through October, November, and December.
There's so much opportunity at the summit. Like, I
Yeah.
love the fact they said it happened right when you check in. That's
Yeah.
great. That's great. And I think what's best about this too, Buva, is the fact that even before the summit, everyone can connect with each other on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is such a great platform for us to connect with others that are going to be attending.
Yeah, exactly. So our registration page is on Luma. I think once you register on Luma, if you have enabled your profile to be open, of course, keeping in mind your privacy as well. If you are open to networking, your information will be visible to other registered and open participants. So you are already connected to anyone who's coming to the summit. You have their information. You have all the speaker LinkedIn and company information on our website. If you need additional support between now and summit, feel free to reach out to our Wallet Max team. Our contact information is on our LinkedIn page and on our summit website. And we are happy to make the connection between now and summit. And then you jump into a 9 a.m. breakfast directly for networking at the summit. And the day goes from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. between breakfast and dinner and lunch with several sessions, pitch competitions, and networking opportunities.
Now, this is great. So, how can attendees who are passionate about sustainability, what can they do in advance to prepare for the summit and the discussions too?
Yeah, so like I mentioned, we are very specific about mission driven mindset. You may not be in sustainable space already, but you want to learn more and see how you can contribute in a small way, even within your community, your neighborhood, your small business, or even a big business. So, like I said, climate is not a climate scientist job, it's for all of us. You need to choose something if you are looking for a better healthcare solution or a better water or food security solution or a better solution that supply chain resilience is required for your small business or a big business, right? Doesn't matter. Pick one or two priorities, whether you are in this field or not in this field. If you are in this field, you are looking to grow. If you are not in this field, you are looking to learn. Both require networking and collaboration. So pick one or two challenges or topics that you want to focus on. Look into our speaker agenda and our participant audience agenda. See who is relevant. Don't pick 100 people. Pick 5 to 10 people who you can specifically talk to and network between 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. on the summit day. I mean, you don't have to stay for the entire day, but it's really good if you stay for the day because certain type of audience come in at certain times of the day. So it's a full day for one ticket where you get a lot of opportunities. And what you can do additionally is, like I mentioned, come with a give and a ask for whatever topic you chose, whoever you want to network with, right? What are you willing to support that person with? And what are you looking to get in return? It's really important to make your give and then your ask, then it is going to be reciprocated by the other person as well. So it won't be a difficult networking conversation. It won't be transactional. You're going to build a long term relationship.
This is great. This is great. I know we have a couple new attendees actually in this live space right now, and they did have a question, and I want to be able to answer this question now in regards to when and where is the summit happening? So, Buva, I know the answer, but I want you to go ahead and answer that.
So the summit is happening in Manhattan, New York City on September 19th. It's a Friday. It's the start of the New York City Climate Week. It's at the intersection of New York City Fashion Week and UN General Assembly proceedings where all global countries, member countries are in New York City already. So we have international audience. It's happening at Civic Hall. It's around 14th Street, Union Square. All the address and logistics information is on our website and the Luma page where you have to register. And details about the agenda, audience, what is in it for you are also listed there. But if you need additional information, feel free to reach out to our team either through the Luma page or on our website.
You are more than welcome. You are more than welcome. They said thank you. So this is great. And one thing about the live, everyone, if you have more questions, you'll have time to ask Buva shortly. I just have a couple more questions to ask her. All right. So the future of climate fintech, Buva. Can you share what trends do you foresee emerging in the climate fintech sector as a result of the conversations that's sparking in the past at the Emerald Summit, and do you see happening now?
Yeah, so one of the things that I'm noticing in the last couple of years and a big trend this year is that climate is not a separate sector anymore. It is going to be part of your business strategy, your roadmap, your operations, everything that you do in a business. As an example, many people would know, at least in the US in the last couple of years, with a lot of wildfires and hurricanes happening between Florida and California predominantly, and recently in Texas, a lot of small businesses and even residential homes cannot be insured by insurance companies. They are not willing to provide insurance, and that kind of makes an impact into your livelihood. You may have to relocate either your house or your business or both because you are living in a space that cannot be insured. There is no guarantee for people's lives, and that's a very big thing. It has nothing to do with climate, but it has everything to do with your mortgage and your residential house or your business and how your small business can really operate in a community, right? So I'm seeing that climate is not anymore a separate side project. Rather, it's very well integrated into our day to day lives and our business, which means when we assess risk and opportunity in our personal lives and in our business, we are keeping climate as an additional parameter to evaluate than separately evaluating climate as an optional activity. So that's number one. Integration of climate considerations, risks, and challenges and opportunities, and building resilience into the mainstream, our personal lives and our professional business lives. The second thing we are seeing is investments, right? So I come from public capital markets. I've worked across trading platforms globally. Then I moved into venture capital, which is a private market capital system. Regardless of the type of investment or the capital allocation, I see a lot of financial managers also using climate as a criteria to evaluate decisions around investments or funding or fundraising or lending, right? As an example, 30 years back, it was okay to say, hey, I took your investment, I invested in something like this, but there was a flood or hurricane, and we didn't anticipate that, so we lost your investment, we didn't make money. That was okay like 20, 30 years back, but today it's not okay. The investor is going to ask you, hey, did you not use latest technologies and tools where you can forecast and predict and prepare for things like this? Why didn't you foresee this and plan your investment differently, right? So that's going to be the question these days. Whether or not you do it, your investors are going to ask, is my investment climate safe? Am I at risk due to a climate issue in any part of the world regarding your investment? So beyond moving from day-to-day risk and considerations from your house and business, it's also going to be part of investments, whether you are investing in something else or someone else is investing in your business. The third most important thing I see in terms of trend is there is no public market funding or private market funding or government funding or philanthropic funding anymore. I see a blended capital model because any business in its early stage will need some kind of angel or venture capital funding. When they have grown to a certain level, they will need support from the public corporations, institutional investors, and government, local, state, however it works in your localized region. Then once they grow and become a very large company, they potentially need funding from additional sources like philanthropies or even organizations like a private equity or something similar, right? So it's not a one type of capital model anymore. It's going to be a blended capital model where you may need funding from different sources depending on what you're doing, where you're doing, and what your stage is in. And sometimes, also more importantly, you will notice that at some point you may need all at the same time. If you are building a very big battery storage for green energy, or if you are building a very big solar project or a wind project, you may need funding from a corporation, a private investor, and some government backing in that region to make it happen, right? So, just to quickly summarize, the trends are climate is becoming mainstream to assess your resilience and risk, be it your house or business. Secondly, it's becoming a very key factor in financing and investment decisions. It's no longer okay to say, hey, I didn't foresee that, when there are technologies and tools available. And lastly, blended capital models in terms of private, public, government, philanthropy. All sectors should work together and fund different solutions at various stages to make it successful, sometimes together at a certain stage as well. So, all of this is what we are going to talk about at our Emerald Summit on September 19th in New York City.
Wow. Again, it's going to be so powerful. I'm really looking forward to just diving into each panel. I am going to ask this question for Dr. Shakira because I know she's been waiting patiently. So, what's the link for AI's role in climate change? Do you have someone who can talk about AI and climate change?
Yes, thanks for asking that question. We do have a panel that will strictly talk about how AI can help with adaptation, resilience, as well as preventing proactively and predicting. The same example I gave, and very unfortunately, last month in Texas also, we faced a situation where some of the prediction and the warnings came little bit late. So there was not enough time to save people. We may not have prevented a flood, but we could have predicted it using AI as a technology to move people to a safe zone before lives were lost, right? So that's where AI is a very powerful tool where it is able to crunch a lot of data much faster, more holistically, and in large quantities. So you are able to forecast more proactively to either prevent, and in scenarios where you are unable to prevent the disaster, you are able to protect the people and their lives more in advance instead of waiting for the worst thing to happen. And one other thing we'll also talk about in the summit is there are a lot of questions and concerns around AI ethics and responsible technology. So we'll be talking about that as well, right? Because it's not just it's predicting power, but is it predicting fairly? Is it including everyone? And that's very important to talk about. So we'll be talking about the power of AI in solving problems, but also how everyone should keep responsibility and ethical aspects into it, and localizing it as needed. So ethics is very subjective. It could be perceived differently in one country versus other country, in one neighborhood versus another neighborhood, right? So localizing AI, its power to predict and solve problems, but from ethical and responsible aspects to the culture of the community where you're solving problems is important, and we'll be talking about that. And one other area for AI we'll talk about is compliance, right? So there are a lot of regulatory compliance happening both within climate and anything that touches climate. As an example, healthcare has a lot of regulations, and climate and finance also have a lot of regulations. Technology has its own set of regulations. So how can AI help to automate some of these regulations so we don't have to make mistakes, rather we can make decisions faster? So we'll talk about AI from solving climate challenges, improving compliance decisions, and ensuring ethical and responsible aspects.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, Dr. Shakira, I'm glad you're able to hear what Buva had to say. Now, another question I have on my end is women's voices in fintech. And I think it's pretty powerful right now. So, what inspired the highlight on women's voices in fintech and sustainability during this year's event?
Yeah, so one of the key challenges we have noticed when we are both in the public markets and in the private markets is funding was not equally balanced. We are not seeing one side getting more funding and the other side getting equal funding. Rather, we are seeing a disproportionate challenge in the sense during the pandemic and even before the pandemic, funding that went to women led initiatives was approximately at 2% of the total 100% of capital that was available for investment. So that's already very less. But what I noticed was post pandemic, I expected to at least stay at 2% or should have increased, right? Because we are trying to see improvements. But what I noticed very unfortunately post pandemic was the funding trend was 1% or sometimes less than 1%, which means after the pandemic, we have gone down in investing in diverse initiatives led by women and underrepresented communities. And that's a big red flag because there are so many innovations that never see the day of light if you don't give the opportunity for them to even present their solution in front of a prospective investor. We are not advocating that you should invest definitely in everything that a women led startup presents, but at least give a stage and opportunity for them to express their solution and have a voice. And then you make the decision whether you want to invest or support. But not even giving that opportunity is a very big red flag. Especially, I saw the trend declining post pandemic, and that's why we want to ensure our summit is inclusive. It's for women and men equally balanced, not one sided, so that everyone has an equal voice. And in this moment, especially investing in sustainable solutions.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. Thank you, Shakira. Thank you, Dr. Shakira. She said that was a great question. I do have another question. Now, I know we've been talking about sustainability and inclusion, but this question has to go into the summit's aspect. So, how does the summit address the relationship between the two? And what role do you see technology playing in this?
Yes, sustainability and inclusion are key pillars at our summit, and not only just the summit, and everything we do year round. Our initiatives, programs, events, and giving back and investments, and the advising and the mentoring and the supporting that we do. One of the key things in terms of being more inclusive is our summit is open to all, anyone who doesn't know anything about sustainability and anyone who wants to learn, or even if you don't know anything, you don't want to learn, you want to support network and meet people who are doing something like this, you are welcome, which means it's open to all as long as you have the motivation to learn, network, collaborate, and probably take action, which is more preferred from my end. So that's where we are addressing the inclusion. We are also ensuring every panel has a diverse voice, meaning from a sector wise. So every panel will have real life experiences from people who have done this in the corporate sector, startup sector, communities, non-profits, private sector, as well as academia and policy driven institutions, including government and other officials, right? So you get a diverse point of view, and that's another way we bring inclusion. Even in the pitch competition, the startup and other awards that we give, you will see all startups will have a unique differentiator. So we bring some diversity of thought and solution into that aspect as well. So through these various mechanisms, we try to be inclusive in our summit in how we do everything during the year as well. In terms of sustainability, like I mentioned, we are not just going to be talking about climate all day, right? Like I said, we're going to be talking about climate, but also how climate is affecting certain sectors, how climate is affecting health, how climate is affecting food, our basic necessities like our residential houses and businesses, and variety of aspects. We will also be talking about how different sectors can collaborate together to bring sustainability into the mix, right? So, sustainability is a broad term and it could be any sector, be it clean energy or even battery storage or even anything that's related to impact investing or small business or even climate resilience or disaster, which is also very directly related to a business continuity planning, right? It has nothing to do with the climate, but then you want to ensure your business stays alive for the next year, right? Which means you are
Yeah.
all preparing for a resilient system, and that essentially also touches climate. So we'll be talking a lot about sustainable solutions, predominantly also focused on how we can take real action, fund and finance many of those, not necessarily just talk and see you next year, right?
Yeah. Yeah, this is great. Now, does anyone that's watching us right now, does anyone have any more questions? This is Anetta. You said new area to explore. Yes, it is. Buba, you are tapping into something. Okay, so if no one has any more questions here, I would love just to say thank you, Buva, so much for just giving us insight of the Emerald Summit. And again, can you share? I know it's on Luma, so anyone that wants to go, please visit Luma. And there's anything else that you would like to share with everyone today?
Sure. Just as a final thought, I just want to thank everyone as the Emerald Summit, where sustainable finance builds climate solutions together. They are not going to be in silos. It's for everyone to work together, even learn and support, even if you don't do something. That's even a good step. Our goal is to build sustainable and profitable tech that addresses global community challenges by considering people and planet, right? In terms of logistics itself, our website is getwalletmax.com/summit. It's on our LinkedIn page. If you go there, you can find how you can register, what's the program, and how in real time we are adding more speakers and shaping up the agenda. You can be involved between now and the summit day. The summit is happening on September 19th. It's a Friday at 9 a.m. See you for breakfast, and it ends at 9 p.m. with dinner with a 12-hour of workshops, panels, pitch competition, awards, and other networking opportunities. It's happening in Midtown Manhattan. You can find all the address and logistics information on our website and on our Luma registration page. Anytime you have a question or a suggestion, feel free to let us know through our website. We have a contact form on our website. You can reach out through that and we'll immediately get back to you within like 24 to 48 hours.
Okay, we have another question. I love this. All right, so Mandy is asking, when you mention bring and take, what does a startup bring in?
Yes. So typically, when I have startups and investors and executives in the room, startups typically say, "Hey, I just uncovered a different way to build a product. I can share some of the best practices with you," to another startup, right? That is a give. You are not really competing with another startup if you are complementing them. Maybe you both can partner together. So you may have a product or service, and you can say, "Hey, I'm looking to partner with another startup for this particular component, so we both can bring the product or service to the market." That also is a give from the startup. A third way, as an example, a startup can tell an investor is, "Hey, if you have other portfolio companies, I would be happy to mentor them or advise them on challenges that they have." Let's say, as an example, with operations, because I do operations really well and I can help them. So those are some ways you are showcasing that you do it better, and you are able to share it with someone else, which really impresses investors and executives, because they are not just now thinking about investing in you, but they think you are an addition to their entire portfolio, because you're going to bring more value than just getting funding, right? So those are many ways of how you can make a give and make an ask. "Hey, now I am looking for funding and I need to raise this. Tell me what you can give me," right? And that's a better conversation and relationship building than just coming and saying, "Hey, I'm looking for funding, I need help." So you've not built the relationship for people to trust you, see value beyond just investing in you.
Yeah. Thank you for asking that question, Mandy. That was a good question. Does anyone else have questions for us? Okay. Well, again, thank you, Buva. Thank you, Buva, for sharing your knowledge of what we're going to expect on September 19th at Emerald Summit at the Civic Hall. Anyone that's purchasing tickets, I would purchase sooner than later because it could sell out sooner than we know. You're more than welcome, Mandy. You're more than welcome. She said those examples are really good. Thank you, Buva. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
you. Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah. Uh, just go and sign up, register. There are a variety of options for you to buy a ticket. So it's not just one ticket, and you just have to make a decision. You can look into it, select what suits you, and you can always reach out to us if you need anything else.
Yeah. And just to let everyone know, we will be going live again in 2 weeks, right, Buva? Do you want to give them a little snippet of what to expect?
Our next LinkedIn Live is going to happen on August 26th in the afternoon. So you'll see more information as we publish our details from tomorrow. With all that I have learned and gathered through my corporate career as well as in the private sector, and now working with a community and building a community for everyone else and the next generation, I thought it's only very important that I put all this in a book and share it with everyone. So I can only do so many LinkedIn lives, and it is not possible to share everything in one space. Just to give some context, I gave a TEDx talk last year, and a lot of what I shared in that, people came asking for more on how you did that, what to do in this scenario, and how to approach it differently. So I thought it's only fair that I put all that in a book and release it. So I'll be launching a book in 2026. And in 2 weeks, we're going to give a preview of what's in that book, who is it for, and how anyone can use it, regardless of where you are in your career path or industry or country or background.
So excited for you, Booba. I can't wait till everyone has just a little taste of what to expect when you officially launch your book. But thank you again for being here today, everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And stay tuned to Wallet Max's channel so you can see what other lives that we have planned for the year. Thank you,
Thanks,
Booba.
everyone. Yeah, again, the website is getwalletmax.com/summit, or you can just go to getwalletmax.com and you'll see instructions to go to the summit page from there. Reach out to us and hope to see many of you there at the summit on September 19th. Thank you.